I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange. Hey there, spooky nerds. Welcome back to Talking Strange, the Paranormal Pop Culture Show. I'm still Aaron. I'm still here. And this episode, we're talking to twin brothers, Danny and Michael Philippou. These guys are the writers, directors behind the new horror film, Bring Her Back. It's out now as of May 30th. And I love talking to these guys. They were on the show before for their film, 2023 film, Talk to Me. These guys are incredible. They get the horror film. They get what they're trying to do in the horror genre. Incredible creators. And Talk to Me, I love that movie. And it introduced a dark supernatural twist on the whole Ouija board, seance, teenage party vibe. Very, very kind of like dark when you think about their notions of the afterlife. And now they're back. They're back with their next feature film. They're tackling the ideas of grief, but really exploring how far people are going to go to reconnect with a person who has moved on. And then what happens when they are successfully on that track to reuniting with that person who has moved on, and the sacrifices that are involved in that process. The official synopsis really is that a brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother. But that does not begin to really dig into this film. There's so much more. Again, dark. I'm going to say this. Dark, but very entertaining, very unsettling. Starring Sally Hawkins, incredible actress. I loved her in Shape of Water, as well as Billy Barrett and Sora Wong. And like Talk to Me, there are some seriously cringe-inducing moments that really make you almost turn away. In fact, I'll just say it right here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to say the knife scene and the countertop scene. I think, go see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those moments. Ugh. Yeah. But anyhow, things unravel with the brother and sister played by Billy Barrett and Sora Wong. And Sally Hawkins' character reveals herself to be not so much the warm foster parent that she presents herself, but instead something more sinister. And then we learn about some mythology, some lore, some dark rituals, including the idea of soul for a soul. And then there's some other funky stuff going on there. The rituals, there's some elements in this that have that feeling of realism, and that's partially because these guys, Danny and Michael, have researched this. And even the tattoos on the characters have significance. And then there's a demon, but the demon is actually an angel. They're going to get into all of this in the interview. This is a great flick. Like I said, it's out now, May 30th. You definitely want to check it out. So I'm going to stop yammering. We're going to get to the interview. For those of you watching the video on YouTube, heads up, the cam cut out early. It sucks. It happens. I'm sorry. So let us get to it. Writers, directors, Bring Her Back, Danny, Michael Philippou. First off, really enjoyed the movie. I loved the hell out of Talk to Me, because I went down this like rabbit hole of my own research, being like, these guys are pulling from some deep lore of the paranormal and the occult, and it's like not knowing whether it was intentional or whether you just tapped into something. But it was really cool. Like, you guys pulled from a lot of different elements and loved it. And then watching this movie, I'm like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff going on here that, you know, maybe it's a little bit of voodoo, it's a little bit of this. Like, what was some of the research that you were looking at? You know, obviously you don't want to go too deep into making it something that's not yours, but what was some of the occult research you were looking at?
Yeah, it's always about friends. I have a lot of friends that do a lot of traveling and interview a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And like, it's talking to people that have made their own spell books, like a lot of authors from some of those like really obscure occult books. that was a lot of research. And there were some people that I had to dress up as a different character as well, where like, I don't know, it just helped me be someone else talking to these people and stuff. And it's just always a really fun part about building out the mythology and like creating our own world, creating our own demons, but like having it rooted in like some sort of reality. Because you never know, the smallest, subtlest detail would like inspire so much. So it was just all different conversations of different occultists.
What was filming the actual VHS tape that we're introduced to right at the top of the film is one of those things that it kind of brought me back to sort of a Blair Witch vibe, or VHS, the horror anthology, where I'm like, or The Ring, where I'm like, I want to see more of that tape.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about filming the actual ritual, the VHS tape, and also, where's that tape now? Like, can we? Does it exist somewhere that we can see it?
Yeah. It was always a balance because you didn't want too much like put into the film. You don't want it to overshadow the film or become too much of a found footage film. But I loved
the whole thing was filmed, and it looks. There's so many incredible,
good moments. And we wanted like this inversion of the home videos. That Laura, there's this healthy way of grieving with her daughter and stuff, and then there's this weird inversion, which is these fucked up, like these weird ritual tapes that she's watching. And we recorded the whole thing. We built out that lore. I dressed up as a character as well when I was recording it, so I recorded all that sort of stuff. I bleached my eyebrows and my hair and had these different contact lenses in. And I was there with all the actors, like performing with them and recording. But yes, we've got the whole thing recorded, and it may see the light of day.
Yeah. What language were they speaking in the?
Russian.
Russian, okay.
Yeah.
This story stands on its own, but I still ask the question about like, how did Sally Hawkins' character get her hands on that tape? Like, where did that come from?
Well, yeah, because it's all ironed out, and that's part of like building the character and the backstories and really like going through that with Sally. I love hinting at it, but not giving the exact answer. But yeah, it's all out there, it's all written, but yeah, only hinting at it feels more exciting to us than like giving the answers to that sort of stuff.
Give me a little bit more than that. Give me a little bit more of a tease than that.
I remember the interview last time, and
I know everyone wants the exact answers. Well, look, there is going to be a...
Well, say this.
Well, see, this is it. Yeah, see, Michael yelled at me for
I'll
this.
say this. That there's things that you can look up when you're trying to get over grief, or, finding ways to process certain things. And you can go the good side or the dark side. And so if you get swallowed into that hole like you do sometimes when you're doom scrolling and you go down a certain path and wonder where you turned up, it's kind of like that.
Put it this way. If there's a site that's on screen, could be a site in real life.
Okay.
As in...
That's good. You'd be able.
Does that make sense?
Figure that out.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But now I need to see the movie again, so to go back and like take notes on anything that I might see on screen.
Well, that's the thing is we wanted to show things that's the backstory and lore, but not in an overt way. So there is other ways through the other ways that you can figure that stuff out. Because we didn't want it to be a primary thing. We wanted the audience to come in at a certain part of the movie, and that's where we're seeing it
and
from.
then some people get really frustrated with certain stuff, but I'm like, the hints are there, the clues are there. I hate spelling that out. Like,
if you care enough, it's there.
If you care enough, it's there. Yeah.
Oh, I care enough. You call it a demon in the credits, and last night in the Q&A. So, is there a name to this demon?
Tari. Its name is Tari.
Spelled.
And it's an angel. Tari.
Tari. Okay, that's good.
That's a lot. That you've given a lot. That's
He's giving me that look. He's like, you better fucking give me something.
It's so interesting because that's stuff that's in the script but never on screen.
Yeah.
And saying, but
even the demons and Talk to Me all had names and backstories and stuff. So it's so cool, like hinting at how they passed or how they're attaching themselves. Same as this, like who this cult is, what they're summoning. I love building that stuff out.
There's this element of. Well, I guess the question is, did you think about a scene, especially like in the VHS, but is there a scene right after someone brings that loved one back? Because in my mind, I go to the place of like, oh, sure, grief, loss, it overtakes you, it racks you, it's and you'll do anything to get that person back. but like with any zombie film, any vampire film, you bring someone back, then there's the next scene of like Pet Sematary. Like maybe that was a bad idea. So was there a next scene after that you guys thought about, even if we didn't see it on screen?
Well, for me, I liked that this is an angel. It is a miracle that's being performed, and it would work, and it'd be okay. It's a life for a life. You're putting a soul into a different body, and then that's sort of like tying into Laura taking down all these photographs of Kathy from the house. Like, I've got to stop seeing my daughter as she was. She's going to be in a different body. She's going to have a different face. Her soul and her being is going to be here. Her personality is going to be here, but she's going to look like someone else. So we sort of hinted that a little bit as well throughout the film.
And then with
I like the idea that, her face is
mainly
obscured. But yeah, I like that, it would have worked. It could have worked.
But I think Laura she's not doing it right. She's not.
We don't want to give too much.
But and she's also grappling with what she's doing mentally. So because she is a human being at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and she's been drawn to this thing, and she is hurting people. But she has that. She's locked in on. I need.
Trying to find like a character that you uncomfortably empathize with.
You can find the empathy with her, and I think anyone that's lost someone, but also the performance on screen, you could definitely empathize with her. There was something I found delightfully nihilistic about Talk to Me, and with this, even what you're just saying, it's like this notion of if it's an angel, but also there are times, at least you've referenced the thing as a demon before, that those are kind of one and the same, and also what kind of messed up deity are we dealing with? It's like, this will work, but somebody else has got to go. Dark stuff has to happen. What kind of God are you guys dealing with here?
I mean, it's a soul for a soul, and again, like ties into a lot of these things that you sort of hear about and that you read about, and like part of that research, like it's blood for
Old
blood.
Testament.
Eye for an eye, blood for blood, body for a body. It's just it's all tied into those. It's rooted in actual rituals.
Yeah, and it's perspective. It's a horrific thing, but to Laura, this is a beautiful thing. This is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
This is a miracle.
Yeah, so and it could be a way that you could do it.
Skewed. She's lost her sanity, and she's in this world with that. But in the terms of that demon, that demon itself is not good or bad. That is its job.
There, and it's having to do this thing. It's just been summoned here. It's there to do the deed.
She's Laura is this character. Sally Hawkins' character is someone that, to kind of borrow a phrase from comic books, like had one bad day, but not just one bad day, but obviously suffered such a tragedy, such a loss, that it changed a lot of who she is and how she navigates this world to go down this path. Where, maybe stopping at nothing to get what she wants. With Sally showing up on set, and you talked a little bit about this at the Q&A last night, but did she show up fully kind of in that mode of here's the sweet Laura, the maternal lover Laura, here is the darkness? Did she show up kind of fully developed, or was there a back and forth on nudging her to get to that spot, not get there too quickly or show off too quickly, etc.?
Yeah, and that's part of that process with her that she really loves, is like shooting as chronologically as you can. And it's like the first conversations that we have with an actor, and we sit down, it's like breaking down every single scene in the script, talking about where they are, so you can track where they are emotionally, you can track where their arc is. And so that stuff is sort of broken down in that moment and in that process. And then, but the collaboration doesn't end there, and it's a lot on instinct, and Sally, like, as chronologically as we can, like living through those moments and feeling that out. And it's always a balance, and it's always a conversation, because you don't want to tip the hat too early, but you also there always need to be hints of that darkness with the character.
Yeah, and I think a big thing with her was the rehearsals. She would go shopping as that character. She'd dress the set as that character. The more that we could do in the lead up would just help her. And that's the thing with like longer takes, to do a scene where you're sitting down. She wants to do she would do it from waking up that morning and play the whole thing out to come sit down in that scene. As much as possible as we could lead up to that, would just enhance her performance so much. So we would play through key scenes of that character's life, and so they're lived in some way. And that's was so incredible seeing her work like that, because we love that stuff. We love all that stuff that will never be on camera, but it's lived in some way, and it brings this authenticity to it. It brings a realism to the character, and that's what the thing I've never like. She breaks down every single minute detail about the character and embodies it so amazingly that when she comes to set and she's there, it's just the most incredible thing to witness.
Is the tattoo on her character, is that Sally's tattoo or is that the character?
It's the character's tattoo.
And what's the tattoo mean?
Oh, he just wants all the answers, this guy. I mean, like a small hint, like you can tie that into the shape of the pool. So I love there's a bit of a correlation there. And it's an actual symbol that represents an actual thing, and you can do some actual research, right? No?
Okay. What about the birthmark?
There was some people that we spoke to, especially when we were looking into that lore, that they talk about, like some people, I think birthmarks are amazing and beautiful, but there were some people like, oh, it's a stain on the soul. Like there's
like a witch's mark, yeah.
Yeah. So that was just tapping into those things as well. And like for there to be, every time that this demon's sort of summoned and whatever body it's in, it's going to carry this sign.
It's, like I said, like, you know, I go pursue weird stuff and I love it. I'm not going to say I don't get freaked out sometimes, but what really kind of unnerves me is everybody thinking you're losing your grip on sanity when you know that you're observing something play out. And I'm thinking about, I forget his name, the brother character,
Andy.
The actors, Andy, and so what do you personally, is that relatable for you, the notion of being the sane person in an insane world and everybody think you're the one losing your marbles? Do you tap into that?
Well, I think that the scariest part of that we're tapping into is like the idea of a therapist or a psychologist like knows how to help someone and all these tools to fix someone. It's like, what if they use those tools to dismantle someone? Like the idea of that is really scary and freaky, where someone's so vulnerable and they're in someone's hands or in someone's care, then they can manipulate and turn that. That was sort of the thing that it was like tapping into, where it was like, the idea of it just freaks me out. The same way like with the knife scene or whatever, the idea of metal against teeth freaks me out. So it's always just tapping into things that you're like, ooh.
And that's the whole big thing, is what you see and what you don't. The two sides of things is played a lot in the movie. Even Laura is always, you know, intentionally prodding at Andy and trying to break him down in every way possible.
Yeah.
And she knows, because Piper can't see, there's different ways that she can manipulate and exploit that situation. So even when Andy punches the wall and she's screaming, with an almost smile on her face, she knows Piper can't see it. And Andy's that thing, she's right there, fucking like. But she's got him. She's got him in that moment.
Yeah, but Andy's at fault a little bit as well to me, because not allowing her to experience the world or painting to her like a certain way that you have to know about the dark and light of life to help like navigate the world. Yeah. So that's just thematically sort of tied in.
That's what parents do. I mean, like, you know, when you're taking on that parent role or protective older brother, you are trying to protect them from the darkness. But the Andy character, especially as a kid, like being, you know, him being a kid, having, you know, shit that kids have in their past, you know, things they're ashamed of, and yet he'll never get past it. Like it'll always be held against him.
Yeah.
And then the system will constantly be using that against him as
and
well.
prodding him. Yeah. And then it's even like that thing. So I remember this car crash that I was in, and that I had a concussion, and then how vulnerable you are in that moment, and the idea that someone could like notice that and use that to like help break someone down. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah.
The moment you mentioned the knife moment, and this is something that you can say the knife moment, and people that haven't seen this film, still, it's not a spoiler, because they're still going to go in there and be messed with by this scene. Which I love. And personally, like, you know, watch you talk to me, you know, the head moment, the head bashing moment. Still, you can say that, and that doesn't really prepare you for what you're actually about to watch. But when you're having these moments, is it you two talking about what makes you cringe, what makes you squirm, or are you just playing a game of like, hey, how messed up would this be? Like, where do those things come from, and the table moment as well?
It comes mainly from story, of thematically what it's representing something on a story level, and there's a version of that. This is the horror scene is a version of that.
Yeah, but it is also just, it's tapping into that stuff, like saying, like even like a fork or any sort of metal on teeth makes me cringe. And so like when you're writing and you're expressing things that make you uncomfortable, that's going to be there. And then always making sure you tie it back to Kara. Make sure you tie it back to theme. That's the best body horror, when it ties back into those things. But yeah, there's a sensitivity around mouths and teeth, and like I hate going to the dentist. And like that, I don't know, that was just a point of inspiration.
It's same. For what it's worth. Like I have a relative family member that would definitely like scrape their teeth against forks.
Oh,
gosh. It would get to me. And
Yeah.
I'm going to the dentist, I'm trying to tap it in my most Jedi Zen-like state, because it's got to happen. You know, it's a great encouragement to floss and take care of your teeth, so you're dealing with less scraping. So that freaking gets to me. That and like stuff with eyes.
What about the knife on a plate?
Oh yeah, obviously that's the worst sound
makes
as well. Oh
like,
god.
I don't like
screech.
it, but the teeth metal thing still gets me more. What's your thing?
Ooh,
Yeah, Michael, tell
good
us
question.
Michael's not
Give
scared
us
of anything.
ammunition to.
It'll spoil the next movie.
There's something about that noise on a knife on a plate fucking gets to me for some reason.
That gets you? Yeah.
And it's just like that. There's those certain things for whatever reason, and there's some that you develop over time that you don't have, and then you do later. Say, for example, a claustrophobia, being in enclosed spaces, it never used to affect me. Mm-hmm. Then as I got older, there's something that happened that did. And it's the same with, say, plane flights. It used to be when there was turbulence, I'd get excited. I wouldn't care. Oh my god, like everyone's kind of worried and we're kind of dipping, but I would get a thrill out of it. Whereas now I go, what's going on here?
It's probably also traveling more. The more you do these kinds of things, so I travel a lot. So I'm like, every time. I mean, the odds are not so much.
They're growing. The odds of going. Yeah. And yet you always forget that you're literally in the fucking sky, because it's so comfortable with that, but you're in the sky. Yeah.
Yeah. What is there, as far as, if I may ask about Talk to Me? I mean, when I discussed this with you before, obviously there's a whole world there. There's a lot of stories that you could continue to tell in that world, as well as this world. Are you thinking about more in the Talk to Me universe?
Yes. Even when we finished writing the script for the first one, you can't help but continue writing, because where did that hand end up? Who grabbed it next? How did it affect those characters? Naturally, when you're so into a story, even after you finish writing, the story's been told. Exploring that and finding that is always a part of the process. And we have 2 different scripts for Talk to Me 2, and it's following different characters, following different themes, and it's about stepping away from it for a little bit, and then when you come back to it, looking at it through a fresh perspective or through a fresh lens.
This world is very different, I think, because there is such a subtext about dealing with grief and everything. Mm-hmm. So, but this is also a world that you could explore further. Is that something that you're interested in doing?
It feels like it doesn't. This one feels like the story's told. We were laughing or get excited about the idea. Not that I think we'd ever do it, but the idea of the prequel to that, of Laura doing this ritual, kidnapping Oliver, that's
digging up Kathy.
Yeah. So that sort of stuff seems really exciting, but it just doesn't seem as like it lends itself naturally to. Once I started continuing the writing, it was just sort of following Piper a little bit more. It wasn't Talk to Me, where it was the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Not so much with these characters,
but with the angel, perhaps so.
Well, not that character, but that world, and there is ways that it's connected to Talk to Me
in a subtle way.
But there is that I think you would discover.
Yeah, where is the hand right now? Because I love the hand from Talk to Me as just a cool piece of cinema that takes on a life of its own.
I think it's at one of my parents' houses. There were 6 hands made.
6 or 7.
Yeah, so one of them, I know a collector bought one of them. So there's a collector that has one of the original Talk to Me hands, which is awesome. There's one of them at Adelaide Studios where we shot Talk to Me. So there's one there. I think one of them is at our parents' house. I know Sophie Wilde has one as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she's got a hand.
There's different people that have them.
Yeah.
But there's the main one is I think it's at our parents' house right now. That one. The one that we shot with. I don't know, yeah. Because it has a bit of that chip off the side.
Yeah. Well, we shot with it, the interchange.
Did you know the person that molded the hand, not molded the hand, but did the artwork on the hand, quit the day after they did
Probably
that?
because we drove them crazy doing that.
Well, they stayed up all night and then they quit the next day. And there's so much happening on set, you don't even, you go, oh, that's strange. But then you think about what? Why?
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
Yeah, they freaked
them.
themselves out or something. Like, I can't work on
You
this
never
movie
got a chance
anymore.
to ask this question?
No.
No, like, because there's,
But
you always, filmmaking is just 1,000 questions and decisions to be made, and that you get told, like, oh, geez, oh my God.
One thing we did do for this film is that we had a shaman come in and bless the set, like before production and throughout production, just in case.
So I like that. So there's actually an element of this that you think is legit.
Well, I think that, especially making certain people comfortable as well on set, like it feels like maybe you're opening certain energies and maybe you're becoming vulnerable to certain things. I'm not sure, but you can never be too safe.
I don't necessarily believe in it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
So I'm open to. I love chatting to people about that stuff.
I'm like,
and their
I want to
experiences and
believe.
stuff.
Yeah. I'll take you to some cool places.
I would love that, sir.
Dude, anytime. There's even plenty right here in New York. As you're doing these kinds of films where you do have these supernatural elements to it, are you finding that people are now sharing stories with you about there was this one time where this weird thing happened? Are you getting those?
I mean, we always like looked for that before even making films and stuff. Always obsessed with the paranormal, always obsessed with the supernatural. So it's always a question. Like,
do you know who Letter the Doll is?
I know that, yeah.
So there was a thing we were doing, even with that, so we did a big deep dive. We were going to release a video on YouTube about it. We went and filmed with that doll. I think it's the most, speaking of horror stuff, is the most unique haunted doll in history. And it's so it's in Australia right now, but it's like out of all the ones, because we were doing this video where we brought all these haunted dolls to the Conjuring house.
Yeah.
And there was this Let Me Out doll that I saw pictures of. I'm like, holy fuck, this thing is incredible. Yeah. And then speaking to that was it was surreal. So all that stuff, I love exploring and listening to stories like that.
So I did this show, it was a Netflix show called 28 Days Haunted, and it was with the Warren family, or connected to the Warren family. So as a result of that, I was in the their kind of house, and so they had the Annabelle doll. So I've been around the real Annabelle doll a few times, but what I think is actually creepy, there's this one called Robert the Doll down in Key West, and that's the one where it has actual history backing up the story, I mean, whatever you believe or don't believe, but the history is there as far as people talking about how weird it was for a very long time.
Awesome.
And that one's a really good one. So dolls are pretty creepy. Is that like a playground you would want to mess around with?
You never know. You never know. I would never say never. Yeah, dolls are fucking scary.
Yeah, there's something about it. And there was something about that Let Me Out one where it was in Australia, but it was found under this house. And they took it to a museum, and it was dated to the 1800s from these nails in the feet.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the owner, and he was saying these things, and I was like, oh my God, why has this not been explored yet? So we did this amazing interview. We're going to go do some stuff with him, but that was right before we stopped talking to him.
You'll be all right. But yeah, we can tap into that maybe in the future.
Yeah, well, yeah, not off the table.
Are there other, kind of, what other kind of scares are you interested in? What other kind of worlds? And I'm thinking like, you got a whole world of monsters, and then cryptids. Hell, you've got enough in Australia alone to fill multiple books, and then you have like UFOs, aliens, and then urban legends. What are some of the other kind of sandboxes that fascinate you guys?
I mean, I open to explore all things. Am I writing something right now that taps into something? But like in the future, I would love to do a UFO or alien film for sure.
Yeah.
I love that whole thing. I get so excited thinking about, I just used to be obsessed with tracking down all those old school VHS, like all those photos of UFOs, or tracking down that Roswell tape and watching it. I love the idea of
the
that.
autopsy tape.
Yeah, the autopsy tape. I love the autopsy tape to death. It's
how about have you seen the interview with the alien?
Yes.
And the guy's got the voice, and he's got this voice modifier, and he's talking about the interviewing this alien.
He's like, yeah, the world won't end in 2012, but a couple of years after that it will.
Yeah, he said
no,
it was a 10th year anniversary of the movie, and he did a new interview, and he said, I just wouldn't plan on doing a 20th anniversary of this film.
Yeah, I said, I thought we were going to die by 2017.
2022. Yeah, 2022.
There's something especially creepy for me about the notion of aliens, extraterrestrials, because you're starting with this idea of like, okay, if they're here, if they're visiting, they're smarter than us, far more advanced, but also definitely not a ghost. They're like not human at all, have never been human, right?
Yeah.
So there's something truly alien about that? Is that something that freaks you out?
I mean, I love that. How wicked. Have you ever seen The Phenomenon? You must
yeah,
have.
of course,
Dude,
yeah.
it's so fucking good. Yeah, I get really giddy when I think about that. One day, maybe. Well, Jordan Peele did such a good UFO movie, so yeah, it's hard.
But even like Fire in the Sky is such a fascinating
fucking
story.
love Fire in the
of
Sky.
somebody who's
Yeah.
missing,
Yeah.
and then everyone thinks that his friends killed him, and they're they're getting harassed by the town, and then he gets a phone call one night, and
Yeah.
he's naked at a phone box. Come pick me up, and then like that is such an amazing story. That's a incredible. Fucking
Maybe an
story.
alien movie in the future.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. We were developing one for a little bit.
We
there.
were.
There's a lot of stories out there, and I've interacted with Travis Walton from that film, or from Fire in the Sky quite a bit, the actual guy.
Oh, really?
wow.
Oh, incredible.
And, like, talking to him at length, it's like, who knows what happened, but something definitely happened.
Oh my God, I want to be friends with you.
But, well, we're probably about to wrap up, but yeah, I mean, like, when you're approaching these worlds, what do you think is sort of the difference in what freaks out sort of U.S. audiences? What uniquely freaks out you guys and your audiences from home that may not translate?
It's so weird because we always thought that certain things wouldn't translate, but you find that like themes or characters, stuff that you think is so just Australian, it's so weird that it does translate universally because like everyone's still all human in a way. So like I find that that things do track across all different countries or continents. So yeah, I don't know entirely how to answer that. It feels like things are pretty universal, but
Well, it's specific to Australia. It'd probably be the fucking big red kangaroos.
yeah, but like you're not scared of them, are you?
No, but it's like
Everyone talks about how scary Australia is or how scary, you know, the
animals and the bugs
But it's
are.
just, it's not, when you come there, it's like, it's not that bad.
That's in the center of Australia. We know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time in the Northern Territory, and there's some things up there that are a little intimidating.
No, definitely Northern Territory. But
Are you
South
talking about like spiders and things?
I was on this project with National Geographic that involved like croc wrangling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there was a moment where a crocodile did try to board the airboat that we were on, and that was a moment. I grew up in Florida, which I always refer to as sort of diet Australia. Australia light, you know, it's like smaller, but everything still kind of wants to kill you. It's just on a smaller scale as well.
Yeah.
But that moment definitely that made me think like, oh. Yeah, this is not fun right now.
Yeah, you're like, why the fuck am I on this fucking boat?
It seemed like such a good idea until the crocodile actually started to board the boat. But
Oh my god, it's terrifying.
They are fucking scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, most things do translate. But was there a moment either through the course of this production or your other work where you go pretty far and you make people uncomfortable? Has there been something where like, that's too far, let's not do it, or let's cut it out later? What's an example of that?
Yeah, well, there's always moments in the script, and it's so fun when we're writing or when we're doing script editing of Sam. Like, she always helps us find like the line and stuff, and you always keep things in your back pocket. Like, I know I'm going to remove this, but I'm going to use this to try and get my way of this thing or whatever. I don't know, there's something about like the line is usually found sometimes in the scripting, but a lot of times in the edit as well. Like you shoot.
Oh, definitely the script with Talk to Me. The initial draft of Talk to Me was fucked up.
Oh yeah, it
Like,
was too much.
It was
like,
way too much.
Like the first possession was it was violent, the first possession initially, and it was like, why are these kids coming back and doing this again in the first thing? So you find it on like a character level, like how to balance that. And then just like with the hell sequence and Talk to Me, or like with this eating the hand stuff, like that scene could have gone on for another 5 minutes or whatever. But it's just like you just feel it naturally when you're doing it.
But I guess in our minds it's not that far, but I guess our line is further along than other people.
Yeah.
So and when you're actually making it as opposed to watching it, it's just a different relationship.
Yeah, you're
to
like,
the
that's
material.
obviously not real.
It's like
but
you've watched it 3,000 times, when you're editing it and shooting it and stuff. So you have a different relationship. with it.
To be fair, when we were shooting a scene and bring it back, I was like,
oh yeah, there's stuff when you write and then when you see like practically
in the version, you're like, oh, this is actually
with
pretty
the
full on.
prosthetics and stuff.
What was that scene?
Oh, like the table scene and like some of the moments in there, I was like, oh my lordy.
Yeah. Poor Bird, the kid Bird.
No, he loved it.
I'm like, Well, even just as a character.
Oh, as a character, yeah.
Poor kid, like.
Imagine he comes back into his body and his
he's
teeth
got
all
all
gone.
Yeah, like what the?
Yeah, what the fuck happened? I was just asleep.
And
yesterday.
he was a little bit.
My hair. My beautiful hair.
Yeah, he had the long hair, which Jonah, the actor, actually had to cut. Bless him.
Poor kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Uno game to who'd shave their head with him.
Yeah, Michael was bald in the thing, and I had bleached eyebrows. We both looked crazy.
I've kind of kept that look.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you guys go, but man, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the flick. I think that you guys are really bringing some fun stuff to the horror table, even though obviously there's a lot of heavy stuff with this one as well.
Yeah.
It's such a great watch, so can't wait for it to be out there.
Oh, legend! Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
And also drop bears, man. That's
Drop bears, but I don't think they exist though. I don't think they're real.
I've accidentally told people, because people ask me, I know a lot about the monsters around the world and whatnot, and I've accidentally pranked people about drop bears and then forgot to undo the damage. So there are people out there that I've led astray by convincing that drop bears exist.
We did a school camp, like in primary school when we were kids, and the people there would tell us the drop bear story, and they to this day didn't say that it was fake.
Yeah, they never tell. They're never
They're adults. They're
knows,
supervising at this camp. Hey, careful the drop bears. They'll drop on you.
I feel like I would do that if I was a camp
But
counselor.
I was like,
you
they
gotta be- that's
traumatized
really
this massive. It was to stop people from walking around at night in the
Yeah.
forest. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they said that, but they never said at the end. Oh yeah, by the way, it's not real.
You know when you grow up.
This is the new project. I think that you guys.
The
are
drop bear
coming up
movie. I'm all in.
It's gonna be a trilogy.
Yeah. All right, boys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
And here we are. That was Danny and Michael Philippou, the brother director team behind the new horror film Bring Her Back. It is in theaters now as of May 30th. Check it out. It's intense. It's a great horror flick. It's dark. It's just a great movie. Again, these guys know what they're doing, and I get a kick out of talking to them because they take the work seriously, but they're fun people to talk to. And you've heard it's hard getting any kind of secrets out of them, but I did get a can't wait to see what happens next with these guys, and big rooting for their continued success because they're really killing it. And again, when you watch this movie, and you should go to the theater and watch it. This is a good community experience. Remember the knife scene, the countertop scene. Say no more. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's it for this episode of Talking Strange. I'm Aaron Sagers. Until next time, be kind, stay spooky, and keep it weird.